My name is Ian Walsh, and this is Masters of the Market with Brian Reed. Brian Reed is an expert in his territory, which is Ocean City, correct, Brian? And Cape May,
Correct. Ocean City to Cape May.
to Cape May. He's with Long and Foster, and Brian has a lot of experience with sales, both with investors and on the retail side, and he's been in the business down the shore for quite some time. And it's a little bit outside. The reason I wanted to have you on, Brian, for a couple of reasons. I know you do a lot with social marketing yourself, so which is great. And I also really wanted to learn a little bit more about people that really know their market in your territory specifically, because I underwrite in those areas. So I appreciate you coming on today. Just for those that maybe you're watching this from the Philadelphia region that may not know Brian, I'm sure a lot of people in your area, everybody seems to know who you are in your location. But Brian was a top agent customer service recognized by the was it the New Jersey Magazine of Realtors? Is that correct?
New Jersey Monthly Magazine,
Monthly
kind of like the
magazine.
Philly Magazine.
And that's 5 years in a row?
5 years in a row, correct.
Correct. Top 7% of realtors in the country, if I'm correct, and you've done $1.4 million in sales or have pending since the beginning of this year, which is currently April, from just social media marketing. All
Correct, just from social media loans, social media alone, both from anywhere from a $100,000 home up to a $575,000 condo in Avalon.
So that's amazing. In terms, people. I mean, so social media, and I can't harp on it enough. It is the now and the future of all real estate. Whether it's what I do, whether it's what you do. So if you're making money, generating leads through it, we always say like real estate, or at least me and my partners at Hard Money Bankers, we say it's an online offline business, right? There's so much done online, and there's so much relationship building offline that you have to accept real estate for being that. And it seems like you've more than embraced it if you're generating that kind of revenue and sales and so forth from specifically online marketing. But that's a whole nother topic we can get into at a certain time. So what I wanted to have you on today, Brian, was to talk about where the market's been. Now, you got in 12 years ago into the game, so which means you saw 2005, you saw 2008, you saw Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Jonas. So you got to go through a wild ride in what you do. Can you walk us through like what happened, what it looked like, and where the opportunities came during each of those events?
So I came down to the Jersey Shore having a baby on the way. To come down full-time, left a job of 15 years to come down and sell real estate, which happens to end up being the highest bubble. I had a property in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. I had one in the Wildwoods, and I was buying another duplex in the Wildwoods, and I got out pretty clean on everything. But just to give you just a small example, one of my first deals was a $460,000 property in the center of Wildwood. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. I short sold it 5 years later for $230. So from $460 to $230 in about 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
And so every property that I listed and tried to get a client to do a 10% price reduction at the initial listing, when they finally came around a couple months later, they needed to do another 10. So everyone chased the market down. One of my first listings was $699, eventually sold. This is just an anomaly, but 9 years later, through like 6 different realtors for $350,000.
Wow.
They just chased the market down. I had 10 years, and I would take that on listing appointments to show my clients, price your property right in the beginning, and it will sell. But if you chase the market down, you're just going to continue down a hole you don't want to follow.
So my understanding, and it's a loose one of like, you're in an area with a lot of vacation homes. I know you have a lot of people that actually live there year round. There's actually a lot of good residency there. But so in the event that you have the market going down, a lot of people say vacation homes are like an expendable thing for people because they focus on their primary residence first. So you have like a 2008 or a Sandy or Jonas all at the same time happening. How did that affect that market when people, said, all right, we've got to put our priorities in check, we can barely afford our primary residence, let alone our vacation home. How does that affect your particular market versus like the other markets at that time around you? Like, what were you seeing the differences in the markets when these things happened?
Essentially, it was adapt or die. I saw the absolute beginning of the short sale phase. Most realtors wanted to try to figure it out, had no idea what it was going to happen. And myself and another gentleman actually sat down at breakfast a couple days a week, trying to figure out how we would be able to take advantage of that market. And eventually it was from hit and miss, and the short sale process was incredibly futile in the beginning until they started to use the automated systems, and everyone kind of came together and found just a mold that everyone would follow. But in the beginning, it was, short sales were common for a year, 18 months. Currently, foreclosures are still taking up to 4 years from the time you make your last payment until everything goes through. So, I did a lot of short sales. I got an attorney involved, and I passed all the paperwork to the attorney. The attorney would charge real estate fees and get it to closing. And that was one of the big advantages. And, on the other end, I was finding buyers who were fits for those short sales. And, really at the leading edge of that market. And again, we had to adapt. You either fell off or you adapted and worked with the market.
Yeah, I mean, it had to change your average realtors and the whole way they do business overnight, right? That 2008, that's actually 2008 is when I entered in wholesale. I was wholesaling at the time. And I just remember watching everybody around me, not really knowing what was going on until I looked back, but the speed of change was so fast in terms, like you said, you're chasing these short sales down. And then, it was probably about, even in my market, a year, maybe 2 years, it was just guys working short sales hard. And then, it's changed, it softened up at that point. But so with that said, you adapted to it once. Now, what are you seeing coming, in your market now, and how are you adjusting to where we are? I mean, I don't think there's anybody that's questioning the fact that we're I don't want to say we're at the top, but we're near the top. We're very hot. The market's really hot right now. So how do you adjust, and what do you see coming? You've been there before.
There's some things that we definitely need to do, and right now the banks have gotten smart. They've released a lot of properties. The banks are letting these properties go. They have systems in place to get them on the market, and they're selling very quickly. And there's two different types of properties. The one that's a complete gut job, that's not good for the first-time home buyer, somebody that's going to go in there and buy their first home for $150,000, $160,000. Because down at the beach here, we have on-island and just off-island.
Okay.
A lot of on-island are second homes. Just off-island are the primary residencies. And with Fannie Mae systems, what I'm seeing with a lot of the people that are using, your money, hard money bankers,
sure,
are they're going in, they're buying these properties, okay, and they're flipping them to the first-time home buyers. Gotcha. So there's a huge advantage there. For those properties that were kind of left go, that were probably a second home, that were offshore, what you're seeing is Fannie Mae having that vesting period of 21 days, that first look period. That's where the buyers who are first-time home buyers are coming in, and the investor, has to wait 21 days. So usually what we're seeing is that investor that's going to rehab the property is getting that property that's a little bit further gone, which is actually very advantageous to the people that can swing a hammer. Right. So if you're an investor that's doing all your own work, there is a huge benefit. Someone who wants to put money into play, I don't know how to swing a hammer. I'm good at painting. I can have the carpet done. But if I want to do it myself, I can pay a little bit more than what the person who can't do it themselves, who has to pay like a general contractor to come in and do it. So, there's a lot of nuances, and that's where someone that's experienced investing in their own properties, which I've done, and is a realtor, that can sit there and look at a property and tell you exactly what the return on investment is going to be, after you fix that property up. And, it's a fine line. A lot of people want to play that game.
Oh, yeah.
That really don't know what they may be doing.
You got to be super honest with yourself, your own abilities, and how much what that property's worth. I mean, and that is people listening. Brian says that, I'm sure, with experience in mind and seeing things, as do I. I hear that with experience in mind. And you see some people that get in over their head at times, and you got to figure out how to get around that. Adapt or die, I guess. It's a good way to leave this one. But so Brian, I really appreciate you coming out today. If I was a new investor in your area, or I wanted to work with you, what would be some tips or advice, even just a retail buyer that says, hey, I want to work with Brian. Obviously, you're killer at marketing. I want, if I'm selling my property, I'm coming to you because you're good at marketing, right? So tell me, what would be some things, anything you want to leave the people that will be watching this today?
There's a couple things that I always look for, regardless of what I'm doing with an investment at the shore. And one of the things I like is the triple threat. One is a property with some land that might have future development. Okay. That may have properties. Hopefully, there's multi-family properties on it that need some rehab work. Down in Cape May County, a lot of the Wildwoods, a lot of Ocean City area have properties like these. They can go in. You can get a property that may be developable for 6 condos in the future. They may have a triplex on it. So you can get that triplex. I have one in Wildwood right now. Okay, you can pick it up. I think it's listed at $259,000. Okay, it has 2 3-bedroom units on it and a detached cottage. Okay, so right now it's getting $1,400, $1,300, and $900 in rental income.
Okay.
So at $250,000, you're bringing in $3,600 in rental income. What happens down here a lot of times too is they will condo these properties out. A lot of the duplexes in Ocean City are currently being sold as, it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath upstairs, 3-bedroom, 1-bath downstairs. They apply with the state. They have condo docs drawn up. The process is about $2,500. You apply to sell them separately, and that's what you can do. So a 3-bedroom condo in this location is probably going to sell for maybe $150,000 to $165,000 top and bottom. So you're $330,000. The back cottage could sell for $75,000. So you're at that almost $400,000.
So when you're down your way, get creative. I mean, there's more opportunity than your standard. You don't really see that kind of stuff in my market, like up in Philadelphia. You just don't have that kind of opportunity. So there's a lot of room for creativity where you are, for sure. That's what that sounds like to me.
Without a doubt. And for me, I can't say it enough. I label myself as a realtor doing more to Jersey Shore. I market properties every single day. I do, whether it's a Facebook Live video, whether I put together listing presentations and get the property out there, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I am marketing properties every day. I've done live Facebook drone videos of properties and then showing you where your beach is. Things kind of like that. And the results have been, my results are like 0 days on the market. With properties that are coming to.
I've heard firsthand from clients in common that you legitimately move properties fast. So that's not Brian just talking about Brian. I can co-sign it. So great. So Brian, if I want to get in touch with you, whether I want to sell a property, invest, whatever it may be, how do I do it?
Best ways, follow me on Facebook, like me on Facebook, Brian Reed Beach Homes. It's BRIAN, Reed with 2 E's, Beach Homes. My phone number is 609-848-4041, or you can reach me at elitebeachrealtor@gmail.com. I am up at like 5:15 in the morning if you want to shoot me a text. I'm usually in bed by 11. If we have a deal going on, call me anytime. But text, my message says I'll get back to you within an hour. And that's pretty legit. So
yeah, I can also co-sign that. Brian is extremely responsive. So I've been going back and forth with emails and texts with him. So that's huge. I mean, we're in a market. We're in a world of now, right? People wait 72 hours to return an email. Your deal is gone and probably sold. So Brian's very responsive, and appreciate you coming out and giving the information you did. As everybody knows, I'm Ian Walsh, or Ian at hardmoneybankers.com, and Ian Walsh on Facebook, or Hard Money Bankers of Pennsylvania on Facebook. And thank you very much, Brian.
Thanks, Ian.